Hi students, welcome to the new session. In the past, we have seen the orientation, and in this session, we'll try to understand the course structure and the syllabus, how it is designed, what are the important topics we will be going to cover in this year academic session, and what are all the papers involved, like theory paper and practical paper, how we will be dealing with the subject, and let's see what are all involved in this session. Okay, so this welcomes to the session, and yeah. So as a discipline of psychology, as a discipline, psychology is specialization in the study of experiences, behavior, and the mental process. This, these experiences, behaviors, and mental processes. Please keep these as keywords for few days. Of course, these are the basic words definition for psychology. So as a man, if he experience something, how can he experience? With sensory organs. There are 5 sensory organs for a human being. If they receive information, they process the information, then it is a learning or it will be an experience. Through the experiences, the man behaves in such a way. If it is a good learning, good behavior. It's a bad learning, bad behavior. Okay, and for these behaviors and experiences to happen, there has to be having a processing of information. That is mental process. As we are dealing with the physical aspects of brain and like mental aspect, like you can see, you cannot see the functioning of a computer. You can see the hardware of a computer, but you cannot see the functioning of a computer. You can see only output of the on the screen or the output device. Okay, in such a way, the functioning of brain is different, and the functioning of a brain is different, and you cannot see it. That's how we name it as a mental process. The function of the brain, which we make it as mind and its functioning. Okay, this course introduced the learners to the basic ideas, principles, and methods in psychology. So you need not to worry that you will be dealing with the core areas of the subjects and you have to dig deeper into the subjects. It is very clear. The board wants you to know basic understanding of the subject as you are in the first like +1, like it is just an intermediate stage to select the masters of your interest. So the board wants you to introduce the psychology at this stage. And psychology as a subject, it deals with the understanding of human being. And you're so lucky for this batch that you will be trying to understand human behavior at the early stage than other beings. As we start working, we will be working with human beings and of course with the help of machines and the computer systems, but understanding human being at any stage is really important. And I wish you all the best that you will be trying to deal with the understanding of human behavior at the earlier stages. So what the board wants you to know is just basic, have a basic idea of the subject, principles or basics of the subject, and methods of psychology. Methods of psychology is really important. This is the application part of subject. Okay. So, and the emphasis is to create interest, exposure needed by learners to develop their own knowledge base and understanding. So far, In the schooling, you may have been helped a lot by the teaching experts, right? But from now, try to, of course, we will help you from the as and when needed, and of course, we will be tapping your shoulder as and when required. And the main motto of the board is to develop your own knowledge, right? Understand it. Okay. Then it emphasizes the complexity of behavioral process and discourages simplistic cause and effect thinking. This gives us the idea of scientific study. Psychology, as we discussed now, as a understanding of human behavior, but it is very complex, right? How can you measure behavior? You can attribute the behavior, right? Good, bad, ugly, beautiful, like in such a way you can attribute the behavior, but you cannot like 90% good, 20% good. It cannot be qualitative, it can be quantitative. So how can you make it as a qualitative and quantitative, and how can you scientifically study the psychology? So there are, yes, there are some methods. So you will try to understand these things as a very basic level this session, and at the plus one level. This can be achieved by encouraging critical reasoning. Critical reasoning is one of the like 21st century skill, allowing the students to appreciate the role of cultural factors in behavior and illustrating how biology and experience shape the behavior. It is like relating this subject to the previous learning. So you can recall biology, which you have studied in from past. So they try to relate and link this to the your understanding. It suggested that learning process should involve student in evolving their own understanding. You should evolve. You should know where you are progressing, how you are progressing. You have to have thorough knowledge. Teaching psychology should be based on the use of case studies, narratives, experimental exercises, analysis of common everyday experiences. Common everyday experiences. The board wants you to observe your surroundings, apply the knowledge. Okay, apply the knowledge and make it a habit and as a lifestyle also, so that you can say you can understand the subject very well, and it can be practically possible by all these things: case studies, narratives, experimental exercises, and all. Okay, so let's see next. Next, objectives of the subject. What are the objectives? To develop appreciation, what we have understood so far in the situation and in the session is just collated into 2 3 points. To develop appreciation about human mind and behavior, and this is the way, because this is the basic definition of the psychology, and it is the first goal. To develop learners an appreciation nature of physiological psychological knowledge and its application. Again, yes, various aspects of, like by observing everyday life you can understand it very clearly. To enable learners to become perceptive, socially aware, self-reflective. This means receiving the knowledge, understanding the knowledge, and applying it to the your needs are social need. To facilitate students' quest for personal growth, you have to have very productive journey for your life, and effectiveness enabled to being responsible and responsive and responsible citizen. So if you understand really well, you can understand fellow human beings and help them whenever they are in need. Okay. Okay. So next. Next, So this is the overall structure of the subject. Okay, if you see there are 9 units. 9 units. What is psychology? Like you will be understanding basics of psychology, methods of psychology. This topic is related to research, basis of human behavior. This is like biological basis of human behavior, human development, like lifespan development, how a human being develops from the 0 to 100 years. So that can be understand. And these areas are related to mental process. We can say as cognitive functions of the mind. Okay, so you will have a base understanding, you will have researchual understanding or application part of the psychology. You have biological basis of where it is happening. It is happening in the physical body, and then you will be understanding, try to understand what is the basis of human behavior, and then how you are developing and how you are learning. All these things will be understood in this subject. Okay, just they have given some periods and marks, weightage. Weightage second unit has some weightage. So, and yeah, one important. This is the theory paper and marks is 70 for 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours. You have to write some questions, 1 mark questions, 4 mark questions, and essay questions. And try to explain uh, whenever you are giving some exercise, just try to complete it. Okay. Yeah. Let me. So then next to it is what is covered in the first unit, that is psychology. In psychology, we will have some interesting topics. This covers the whole basic, the introduction to this part psychology, and there will be how psychology can be a discipline. So scientifically study and as a core subject, how you can make it as a discipline. Okay, next to it is a natural science and social science. There is a little thin line of difference, and you may call it a conflict or common understanding. It has relation to both arts and science. You will try to understand the natural science and social science uh, as some topic. Okay. Next, understanding mind and behavior, as it is the basic definition. You will be understanding the mind and behavior as a some interesting topic. Okay. Next to it is notions about the disciplines of psychology, evolution of psychology, and development of psychology. These are two important things. Like it gives the history of psychology in modern times and how it developed so far from the western side and the eastern side. And then branches of psychology. What are the different branches it is related? Themes of research and applications, psychology and other disciplines. Psychologists at work. Like this overall unit will give you some basic understanding. Okay. So next we will see methods of inquiry. The second unit is methods of inquiry. So methods of inquiry deals with goals of psychological entry. I have to understand this. Goals of psychological entry. What is psychological inquiry? As we said earlier, like scientific method. Scientific methods needs an inquiry, like how you steps in conducting research, alternative paradigms of research, nature and psychological data. When you do research, you need a large amount of data and you have to analyze large amount of data. How you can collect those psychology data and what are the methods? There are some methods given: observation method, experimental data, correlation method, research, and there are some things given, and even how you analyze data which is collected. The first observation method is data collection, and next is analyzing data, that is qualitative and quantitative. There is also limitations of psychological inquiry. Yes, every subject has its own limitation. We will try to understand the limitations and ethical issues. Okay, so next, let's see topic. Next topic: basis of human behavior. What is the basis of human behavior? The basis of human behavior is the body, right? No, that's a bad joke. Okay, so the basis of human behavior, as we said, like understanding human behavior from the point of view of biological construction of the human body. Okay, so introduction, evolutionary perspective, like journey so far, biological and cultural roots, will understand biological basis of behavior, like what is the neural structure and nervous system, endocrine system, how genes play a role, cultural, like social conditions, socio-cultural, and enculturalization and socialization of the subject. So next is human development. Human development, if you can, the words human development itself give you the good understanding, right? So human development, what is the meaning? Factors influencing development. You can see as contextual development, overall development stages, parental stage, infancy, prenatal stage, like it is a gestation period in the womb of the mother, infancy, childhood, adulthood, and old age. You will try to understand the different stages of human beings. Okay, so let me take it forward. Sensory, attentional, and perceptual process. Yes, from here it will deal with the cognitive functions as we did. We got the definition, we got the basic understand research, we got the development of human being, and now we will be dealing with the cognitive functions of the high-end mental process of the of a human being. Okay, and now like introduction, knowledge of the world, how sensory organs work, visual and centration, these related to the eye and ear, and selective attention and sustained attention. These are related to attention process. Here you try to understand what are sensory organs, what are their functions, how you uh, be attentive to some aspects or information, how you perceive and receive the information. So that gives a good understanding of this unit. Okay. So next to it is learning, very important. What have you learned today? What you will be learning for tomorrow? How you would be doing? All these questions will be answered. There is also methods in psychology, particularly here it discussed classical conditioning and operating condition. So, and observation learning, what are the different types of learning? They try to, and there is a learning style. There is a walk, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and reading. Okay, so these are the types of styles, and you will try to understand all these things. So next to it is human memory. Human memory, what is memory? Yes, it is just a storage of information for any, for a like, you can say it as what we are discussing. So there is some types of memory, so levels of processing, knowledge representation. This is a very interesting and knowledgeable unit, so you can concentrate on coming days. Next to it is another thinking. Thinking is the source for any behavior, so you will also try to understand thinking. So there is natural thinking. What are all how we can modify thinking? That is also really important. Changes, how you can manage changes, that is in the thinking. So definitely this can help you with the understanding. So now next, motivation and emotion. As we discussed, what motivates you to attend the class? What motivates you to eat food? What motivates you to join a college? All these things, like there should be motivation. There is some important process like Maslow hierarchy theory. These should be discussed, and enhancing positive emotions and reducing negative emotions. Today, this is the biggest base for any human being. So that's how the whole 9 units of the theoretical paper. Next is 30 marks, which is practical paper. Okay, practical paper which concentrates on, see, this is really application part what I am saying. Like, practical is just 5 marks, project file is 5 marks, Viva is 5 marks, one experiment is 15 marks. So there comes the three 30 marks of the paper, 5 marks for conduct of the practical, and 10 marks for the reporting writing. So report writing, which is a project file of things, all these things will be very clearly mentioned. If you can see, the experiments can be related to these things, and on project on common conduct to experiment. These will be covered in the next coming session, and particularly we have to understand that there is a practical paper. Okay, previously you have submitted projects in school level. Now you have to face the practical examination. There will be Vivas and all. These will be explained to you as and when needed. Okay, next. How the question paper is designed, 35% is remembering, understanding, memories of previously learned material, applying. Like this is the theoretical part of the exam. Now next, it tests the reality knowledge of the client. Okay, next, formulating analysis. This is related to the presentation in the paper, how you are presenting your idea. Oh, that's great. I think we have covered the theoretical paper and the practical paper. We have understood very clearly what is the course structure and the syllabus. And if you have any queries in this session, you can write to us. Okay. Thank you so much. All the very best for the course. And tomorrow in the next session, we will be meeting with some interesting topic. That is what it is. First topic, introduction to psychology. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day. That's how I end the session.